Benjamin Netanyahu is a dead man walking, and the deep state in Israel, the criminal military establishment, will kill him to save Israel and save the Democrats in America as well. This is what General Mustafa Hamdan, a retired Lebanese general, has said in an interview a few days ago. How realistic is this? Well, Israel already killed the prime minister. They killed Yitzhak Rabin in 1995, in one of the most hopeful periods in Israeli history, where there was a big vibe of peace because Yitzhak Rabin actually took serious steps to reach a solution where the Palestinians will have a state, and he almost had a peace agreement with Syria as well. Obviously, that didn't make a lot of people happy, especially those who benefit from war in America and in Israel as well. Mainly the military-industrial complex, who thrive on wars and on the blood of people. So he was killed, he was assassinated. The official narrative was that a right-wing extremist, Yigal Amir, who basically has big supporters in Israel, some of them are in the current Israeli government, by the way, like Smotrich and Ben Gvir, they blamed him for the murder. Now, the problem with blaming him is there are multiple discrepancies in the actual murder, and many people who were witnesses heard someone saying srak, which is like a test in Hebrew when they basically make a false attempt to do something. It's as if they were training to do something. And lots of investigations to do with the bullet holes and on his shirt contradicted what the actual Israeli official narrative was. Many people still talk about it to this day in Israel, including some people who were really close to Yitzhak Rabin. But whether he was killed by the deep state or by Yigal Amir, basically the only Israeli prime minister who was killed was Yitzhak Rabin, and there were basically dodgy things with his death. So it's not really something extraordinary for Israel to kill its prime minister or its citizens. We have the Hannibal Directive. Haaretz just clearly published an article a couple of days ago that I spoke about in another video, exposing and claiming that Israeli investigations confirmed that Israeli forces killed revelers and people who were basically Israeli citizens on the 7th of October. Mass killings, not just one or two people. Mass murders. This was the only way they could die. Through Apache bombings, through tank shellings, and through crossfire exchange, like many Israeli eyewitnesses stated. So Israel kills its citizens. It doesn't care about them. It doesn't care about anyone. It doesn't care about Jewish life. It doesn't care about Palestinian life. It doesn't care about anything but itself and its masters. It's an ongoing killing death machine. They have something that's called the Hannibal Directive. The Hannibal Directive basically allows Israel to kill its own citizens when it needs to. Yocheved Lifshitz, who was released by Hamas on a humanitarian basis, clearly stated a couple of times that Israel was shelling them and bombing them. Hamas said several times that over 50 Israeli prisoners have been killed in Gaza due to Israeli bombings. They want to get rid of them because the ones who survived actually criticized Israel, and many of them blatantly praise Hamas in Gaza and the Palestinian treatment of them in Gaza, telling them that they were guests here and that they basically just want to release their prisoners and get their rights. And that's why they came up with this operation. Not like what the mainstream media is telling, oh, bloodthirsty people wanting to kill. Rubbish, BS, complete nonsense. So, can Israel kill Benjamin Netanyahu to save itself? Yes, I'll tell you why as well. This guy has been the most damaging person for Israel as a country in the past 8 years. Some people say more than that. But specifically in the last 8 years, why? He has been leading Israel in a complete failure after failure. Failed very small minority governments that are unable to keep their government. Each time someone resigns, they need to do a re-election. Many people don't want to have any government, don't want to form any government with him from the opposition because he has corruption charges against him. And he's basically clinging on to power to save himself from a definite fate in prison. He also tore the Israeli society apart. In the last 1.5 years, Israel's been witnessing mass protests, hundreds of thousands of people in the streets against his attempts to take over the judicial system in Israel. What he basically wants is to make the Supreme Court bound by the government. No separation of powers, no nothing. Complete catastrophe. At the moment, Israel is introducing more draconian bills, preventing people from talking. Imagine, they just passed a law banning people from watching what they say is terror content. Now, sympathy with Gaza can be terror content. And people can face 1 to 2 years in prison and even more for treason, for watching, not even liking or engaging, watching. So we can't watch. So who knows what can be considered as, this nonsense terror content. They also want to pass another law banning the denial, preventing people from denying the 7th of October attacks. Imagine that. And they can face years in prison if they question the official Israeli narrative, despite the fact that they were constantly seeing contradicting stuff from the official Israeli narrative and what's actually been happening. And they've been exposed on live television, even on the BBC, for heaven's sake, for basically falsifying information, manipulating and fabricating facts and evidence. Will it be inevitable to get rid of Benjamin Netanyahu? Quite possibly, because this man knows that as soon as the war ends, it's gonna be his end. How will it end exactly? With him in prison or with him killed? Don't be surprised if they get rid of Benjamin Netanyahu and kill him like they kill their own soldiers and their own people. Another thing that this guy said is that it's a self-killing machine, which is a very accurate description. Self-killing machine. They kill their own people. They send them to unjustified wars, to brutalize and murder innocent people out of pure savagery and vengeance. Look at the war in Gaza, for example. What military accomplishment have they achieved? Al-Shifa hospital, this is what they claim to be the biggest achievement. Imagine that, a country claiming that targeting and bombing and occupying a hospital as its biggest achievement, which turned out to be their biggest failure. Why? Because just a few days before, they showed us a 3D fabricated, made up video from the IDF, saying that it has all of these sophisticated tunnel systems and it's the command base of Hamas, and this is where they hide everyone, and this is where the hostages were, and this is where everyone is. Complete nonsense. None of this existed whatsoever. They cannot prove any evidence about the stuff that they said, and now they're saying no, their military bases are not actually in Al-Shifa, it's in Khan Yunis. Complete ridiculous nonsense, absolute lies. Yet some people unfortunately still fall for this. Like when I posted the last video on Haaretz's article, I shared the article as well. Where are you getting this information from? Bloody hell, you have the link below. You go and read your article. You actually open your eyes. But some people can't handle the fact that all of their life was based on a lie. That all of their existence was based on a lie. They can have no self-reflection. And there's nothing we can do to cure these people, I'm afraid. That's the only thing we can do. Keep repeating the information, the facts and the truth. Those who have the capacity to review and open up their eyes will. Those who don't, cannot.